Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang in visiting China this week as the White House announces new export limits on AI chips. The new curbs causing shares to sell off over the last several days here. How do you view these new rules impacting Nvidia and other chip companies in the year ahead?
First of all, it's pretty unclear and it's unprecedented. And what I mean by unclear is the ruling relates to semiconductors that either are purpose-built for AI or are designed for AI. And that would put all gaming chips, for example, in that category. They might be primarily designed for gaming, but they're very much designed to have AI capabilities in them. And on the unprecedented part, you're looking at 120 countries, many of them sitting in the EU, like Portugal or even Mexico, that now have limits on that. And this is all going to be managed by a government agency. And I can't think of a worse thing for innovation and speed and revenue than having a traffic cop. I think we're all in on national security, but this is the wrong answer, and I fully expect the new administration coming in to overturn most of the onerous elements of this and maybe provide some clarification.
So then, Patrick, I guess then that would lead me to believe that the market's reaction might be a bit of an overreaction if you are confident that we are going to see a quick change once Trump does enter the White House.
I mean, 2 or 3%, and on Nvidia, and Nvidia was sliding based on the perceptions coming out of CES 2025. I think investors took it as a non-issue or a wait and see until the new administration comes in.
Okay, so all these things considered, how are these companies going to be navigating some of the international relationships that they've also communicated to investors is baked into some of their own growth anticipations as well?
Well, if this moves forward and it goes into effect in 120 days, unless the new administration comes in and squashes it or slow it down, is they have to hire a bunch of consultants to figure out how to manage that. There's a 128-page document that lacks a bit of clarity. And what they're going to have to do is every company is going to come up with their own strategy to deal with this. A lot of companies aren't going to have an issue because they have nothing to do with clusters. But when you look at AI clusters, but when you look at companies like Nvidia and AMD, they're going to have to get, and even Intel, they're going to have to get very clinical on exactly how many chips that they can ship into a certain country. And I think the EU's response, that's typically pretty onerous and heavy-handed, they're even saying that this move is a step in the wrong direction and can potentially shift them in the hands of buying more from companies like Huawei, which is exactly the opposite of what this IFR is supposed to achieve.